What's going on, everybody? This is Sleep, member of Memes and Dreams and Quantum of Robocraft talking to you, and I'm going to go over a couple of basics in this tutorial episode of Robocraft. We're going to be going over the basics of cubes, which types of cubes there are, when you would generally use the cube, and how I feel about each cube individually. It's going to be a kind of lengthy video. After all, this is a cube-based game, much like any builder. So let's get into it. So you have the first and most basic cube, your standard six-faced one. This is the easiest cube to get used to. After all, you'll see many people build boxes out of them, and it's very unaesthetic. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a bot where the front of it is this. It's not that good, man. Now, the base cube is going to be probably your most used cube in Robocraft. After all, it is the standard. And we're talking about the T1 cube. The first cube you will the first cube that you will get is going to be this T1 cube. And you're going to use it for the rest of your life. Most bots you will make, unless they are highly specialized in a specific role, will be made out of T1 cubes. Now, this one will be your most used one. Now, the edges are phenomenal because, one, they're edgy, and two, they give a lot of damage routing opportunities. I will break that down in another video. For now, all you need to know is that they have less connection points than your standard 6x6 here. I believe that these are 4 connection point blocks, which is good and bad. It means that if you use only these, you're going to have weaker structural integrity than if you used only these. But your collateral will also be a lot better. Inners, I skipped one, corner mediums here. These are kind of a wonky little piece. You will use these primarily to fill spaces caused by other blocks or cubes, and they are nothing phenomenal. Now, inners are a very weird cube in the sense that they are essentially the same as this normal cube, as they have 6 connection points. They just look better. That's it. They just look better. So, and they also technically, you have a smaller hitbox on this diagonal part, which allows for some shenanigans with rods. Round cubes, I'm going to be honest, I don't use them. Now, slope cubes, I'm very, very familiar with. So slope cubes you will primarily use because of their small hitbox, and you will use these especially around rods to make hitboxes vanish. I'll get into that in a moment. Corner slopes, these are ones you just stick anywhere when you're trying to bulk up your health. Inners, the inner slopes are only really used whenever you're making a encapsulation pod for something, be that a module like a DSM, be that a thruster or a hover. You're not really going to use these a whole lot, but whenever you use them, you'll use them for a very specific reason, and that's because their hitbox is smaller than this. Cones are rounded pyramids. Pyramids are used, again, because they're edgy, and also because they give you kind of more area. They're essentially just bigger corners. They just have a wider base. So your T1 cubes all have the exact same health value of 1350, all weigh 10 kilograms and will use exactly 1 CPU per placement. Now, your T3 heavy cubes have more HP at 1620, weigh 100 kilograms, and also only use 1 CPU. Now, the obvious difference being aesthetics here. This one has an extra couple lines added to it. These will only be used on pure ground bots, be that mechs, tanks, or cruisers. You're not going to see these on hovers. You're not going to see them on planes, on helis. The weight is just too much. We go to light cubes, and light cubes, in my opinion, do need a buff. They are far too weak right now to ever be used on anything that's not a gimmick. You will see them sometimes used for thruster sticks, or as they're now known, keyboard drones. Their mass is insanely light. We're talking 0.3 kilograms, I believe. Yeah, with only 675 health, which means you are fragile as hell. This is worth, I think, a little less than 2. It might be worth actually a little more than 2. It might just be worth 2. But these are very niche in use. Now you get to compact cubes. Compact cubes are the drone cube. These have 3 times the health of your T1 cubes and are also very light. We're talking 2 kilograms. So 3 times the health, 1/5 the weight, but 3 times the CPU. Primarily used on drones or around very important mounts, be that guns, movement types, or modules. You get down to cosmetics. These are for making anime faces. Neon cubes make you glow. Glass cubes are a cosmetic T1 cube that make you look like you can put a cockpit in your thing if you want to, it's cosmetic. Now, helium, very important, only really for drones at this point. You want, I believe the ratio is still 1 helium cube per 100 kilograms of drone mass, and that lets you be very light and easy to move around with. Rods are extremely important in this game, so pardon me. You have this one right here. This is your standard T2 rod. It is a 3x1 length, and as I said before, you can make hitboxes disappear here. So if you put this like that, and I take a slope here. First of all, you can place it there, which is always nice. So really, in a space where there's only supposed to be 3 cubes, you've put down 4 cubes worth of health. But if you are to destroy this cube, this middle hitbox of this rod disappears. It disappears. It's phenomenal. Moving on, we have other types of rods. Short rods, very niche in use. Long rods, primarily used to mount rotors onto the back of mechs to make mech helis. Rod arcs, same kind of use case. Short arcs, I've actually used these in very weird spots where you don't think they would fit. Diagonals are, well, they used to be really useful for hiding mounting points, but now with the removal of essentially side nano, I find myself barely using these. The Rod Plus, very good for structural integrity, as is the Swastika and the X. Struts are good. They're being used a lot, actually, at the moment. These are 9x1s. So they are, well, I shouldn't say that. They're 3x3s. 3x3x1. So you have essentially, it takes up 9 cubes of space, and they have a lot of health, but they weigh a lot as well. So you will use these in a lot of weird spots. In my mech heli gameplay that I posted after the update, in that rail mech heli, you can see several of these strut pluses being used. They're one of the best parts in the game right now. You just have to manage your weight really carefully. So that is it for the base cube types. I will be seeing you guys hopefully in the next one, where I'm going to be going over movement types. Be sure to drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.